Hurricane Katrina was intentional and it was done to destabilize marginalized groups of people, specifically African Americans, to steal their land that was passed down to them from generation to generation. And you can't convince me otherwise. Let's get into it. Welcome back, YouTube. And for those who do not know me, hello. My name is Noah, and on this channel, we talk about death, true crimes, haunted people, places, and things, spiritual reparations, and how you can fuck around and find out. If you are not subscribed, bestie, subscribe now. Turn your notification bell on. And if you're not following me over on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, follow me there as well. On today's episode, we will be talking about Hurricane Katrina. We just came up on the 20th anniversary, and I was a freshman in high school when this catastrophe happened, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. And though I may have felt a little PTSD watching the new Hulu documentary, Katrina: Race Against Time, I know my PTSD is not as bad as the people that lived through it. But when I tell you I held my breath for my brothers and sisters in New Orleans, I held my breath. And whoever directed and produced this documentary, shout out to them, chef's kiss, because they did not hold back on anything that they were saying. Okay, they showed exactly what I smelled in the 9th grade in 2005, because the way Katrina was portrayed was absolutely disgusting. The way they made it seem like the people of New Orleans were refugees, like that they were hoodlums, thugs. Us Black people around the world cried with the people of Katrina because we knew it was bullshit. So we're going to watch some TikToks. I'm going to give some think pieces because I have talked to locals, natives, who said that Katrina was absolutely intentional. First off, if you have not watched the Hulu documentary, Katrina: Race Against Time, go ahead and watch it because this will make so much more sense. This think piece, this whole video. As y'all know, I love NOLA down real bad. Okay. I have taken cruises out of New Orleans. I've stayed in New Orleans. And the things that the locals are saying doesn't match what was portrayed in the news. It just doesn't. It just does not. And the way they did my brothers and sisters, it's disgusting. And no wonder why it's a portal. It was a portal before then. No wonder it's a portal now. Whenever you build this story that is a absolute lie about a catastrophe, they lied on the people of New Orleans. They lied about them levees. They lied on Katrina. So we're going to watch some TikToks. As always, the creators will be tagged down below. This first creator goes underneath the handle of Custom Creator, and this snippet comes from a documentary for Katrina. There are a lot of different documentaries outside of the Hulu one. It shows more, shows less, but this is of two people sitting on their porch explaining how the levee was blown up. It didn't break. Just listen to what they say.
Experience as Katrina came through.
Well, the 29th, the wind blew hard. It was sheets and sheets of rain, and a tree blew down. Oh, we couldn't get off the porch. We were stranded. So about the first night we were there, I'm hearing all these things go off on the levee, and I looked at the levee. I said, "What are they doing? Shooting off firecrackers?" He said, "No, blowing up the levee."
So you actually heard the explosion?
Heard and saw.
Oh, yeah.
And you saw it?
I saw it.
Yeah.
What did you see?
We couldn't see really that close, but we could see close enough. We seen the helicopters come over the levee, and I think they were dropping package charges and dropping them on the levee and let them blow up there. But he might have sent some guys from the helicopter down there to work on it to blow it up right there.
Okay, so you heard the explosion, you saw the helicopers.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, The thing that people need to realize, the city of New Orleans is basically like a fistbowl. And so as Katrina came through the 17th Street Canal.
I believe them. Do you know how many times I've heard the same shit over and over and over again? That they heard it, explosion, but they actually seen the helicopter over the levee. So I absolutely believe what they're saying. This next creator goes under the handle of BC. Again, another documentary that I have not seen. And if anybody knows what the documentary is, the name of it, please leave it down below. But it is of a man as explaining to a reporter that that levee was blown up.
They broke the levee on purpose.
They blew it.
The water came through the canal at such force it was apparently too much. You can see the massive breach here, and when you look around the corner, you can see what the water did to the lower 9th Ward. It completely destroyed neighborhoods.
I heard something go boom!
Joe Edwards rushed to get himself and as many neighbors as possible into his truck. They drove to this bridge where they've been living ever since.
My house broke in half. My mother's house just disintegrated. It was a brick house. All the houses down there floated down the street like somebody's guiding them.
Was it solely the water that broke the levee, or was it the force of this barge that now sits where homes once did? Joe Edwards says neither. People are so bitter, so disenfranchised in this neighborhood, they actually think the city did it, blowing up the levee to save richer neighborhoods like the French Quarter. So you're convinced?
I know it happened.
That they broke the levee on purpose?
They blew it.
New Orleans mayor says there's no credence to this.
That storm was so powerful and it pushed so much water. There's no way anyone could have calculated what levied a dynamite to have the kind of impact to save the French Quarter.
An LSU expert who looked at the video today says while the barge may have caused it, it was most likely the sheer force of the water that brought the levee along the lower 9th Ward down. David Muir, ABC News, New Orleans.
They absolutely blew it. And that crooked ass mayor of theirs knew that they blew it. George W. Bush knew that they blew it. Everybody ain't lying. This next creator is a New Orleans native. She goes under the handle of Dallion Speaks, and she is explaining what happened the day the levees broke.
Let me ruffle some feathers since y'all listen to your zaddy, the government, putting out that fake-ass documentary of Hurricane Katrina, talking about the levee was gonna break, it was gonna break anyway. Lies. We watched the hurricane. It was over. The rain would rain, and it was over. The water was our care muscles. We was looting. We hear a big boom in New Orleans East. The water started rising like an ocean. They left us there for like 2 days before they rescued us and brought us to the convention center. Some people went to the Superdome. Bodies floating, y'all. People stuck on their roof, y'all. And then at the convention center, we was left there for like 4 days. Guns all in our face, talking about don't do this, don't do that. Bitch, where we gon' go? You hear nothing but screams when night fell. It was dark, 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 dark. Screams, people getting raped, people dying, people getting killed. I saw a little girl up in the ice chest, throat slit. She was naked and raped. So much to tell.
I believe in it. And it's so crazy because one of the reports that was coming out of New Orleans is that people were being SA'd, children in particular, women and children. And I just felt like that is true because I did hear that from a native, but the call was coming from inside of the house, allegedly, like the National Guard. Allegedly. Y'all take with that information what y'all want because they blamed it on the people that were stranded at the Superdome, that were stranded in New Orleans. I heard something else. This next creator goes under the handle of Bella Touche, and she is explaining how New Orleans wasn't the only place that Katrina hit down on and that experienced devastation due to the levees being bombed, allegedly. Mississippi also took a very great hit.
This is New Orleans flooded, yeah? This is Mississippi. This is what we mean by Katrina touched down and tore Mississippi to smithereens, like wiped it out, and then flooded New Orleans. This is Mississippi. Complete bridge broken. Casinos moved. Another view of that highway. I've never seen no highway do nothing like that. Can you imagine? And this is not to compare the two. I think we just have to acknowledge that Mississippi was impacted greatly, if not just as much as New Orleans. The issue is that New Orleans it left the people stranded and destitute, and they didn't get to them. Mississippi, they did get aid a little quicker, if it's my understanding, but they were still just as displaced, and they came back to nothing. I know it's hard to tell the difference, but if you look at this is the before, this is the after. If you see this casino right here, the casino used to be right here, and it moved completely across the highway. Also, if you see all of this right here, it's developed. All of this is just debris. This is actual physical houses. This is all debris. Like a tornado swept through that thing. It's unbelievable. It really is. One reporter said that this is almost the equivalent to how it looked when they dropped a bomb on Hiroshima. When they dropped the atomic bomb, she said that's the equivalent. That's crazy. This picture blew me away because there's no house, just steps, no house. The one guy that told his story, they went back to his grandpa's house, and his grandpa was able to like work on their house and rebuild their house. But some of these people in Mississippi, they don't have nothing. And wasn't no rebuilding either. They said Mississippi, neither one of them have been the same. Anyhow, sending lots of love to those who were impacted, regardless of where you lived. Yeah.
This next clip comes from an account called Cherokee Got Nine, and it is of a House Select Committee meeting in September of 2005. And the things that the community are saying, y'all can't tell me that Katrina, the bombing of the levees, Katrina actually did happen, but the bombing of the levees was not intentional. And what followed wasn't intentional.
The order of the breaching of the levees.
Did you say there was an order that the levees be breached?
No, I said the order in which the levees were breached.
Chronological,
but the order. The
Can you define that word for me, please, baby? What does breach mean? Bombed? I was on my front porch. I had witnesses that they bombed the walls of the levee. And the debris that's in front of my door will testify to that. So what do we mean breach? We saying?
Ms. McKinney, let me just we will do a separate interrogation on the walls, the breach, and if Mama D has information on anything, we'll be happy to get that information as a part of that hearing. That's not the subject.
I also have information.
We'd be happy to get that.
I have interviewed witnesses, and I have videotape footage.
Well, we'd be happy to get that before you leave today, and we'll hold a separate hearing on the history, the funding, and everything with the levees.
Excellent, thank you. I have footage also, but I couldn't bring it with me. I could mail it maybe back.
Well, if you have it, we'll get it.
The other issue that didn't come up yet, but that will come up, is on contracts. Because as many people here have said, I think the Congress has been very generous in allotting $62 billion thus far. People have talked about $200 billion.
To who?
But I'd like to see, well, so far it's been Blackwater and Fluor and Bechtel and Halliburton, but it hasn't been the companies inside Louisiana, New Orleans, Mississippi, and Alabama, or for that matter, even companies that have the expertise and the wherewithal in the 4th Congressional District. So I would like the issue of contracts to be addressed, even though I posed the question to the secretary, and I didn't get a response from him as well.
Okay, thank you, Ms. McKinney. Mr. Shays.
Thank you. I'm struck by many emotions right now. You're all under oath, every one of you. You're before a hearing of Congress. This is a big deal. And when I hear that a bead, the impression is of a laser bead on your 5-year-old daughter's forehead.
Granddaughter.
I mean, I just don't frankly believe it, but I'm just being honest.
You believe what you want. I was there, sir.
Well, and
we
so,
saw the guns. We experienced them.
Well, we'll have to.
You should go home with me now.
Wait a second.
You can still see some of it.
Ma'am, I did a lot of listening, but you were honest, I'm honest, and we won't get anywhere if we're both not honest. When I hear that you were on your porch and you saw that the levee was blown up and bombed, I can't let that pass. Don't
let that pass. Come go home with me.
I don't know if that's theater or the truth.
Come go home with me.
Okay, now this is what I want to ask you. Let's start with you then. Is your home right next door to where the levee broke?
At London Street Canal. I'm in the 7th Ward.
How far away was the breach from where?
17th Street Canal is a little further distance, but you have to understand New Orleans is called the Crescent City.
I don't need a long explanation. How many?
Mister, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm 62, and I have to talk the way I talk.
How many feet was the levee from your porch?
I'm Phi Beta Kappa too, but I have to talk the way I talk. I'm trying to answer your question.
How many feet? How many? Half a mile?
No, let me go a little further than that. There was a military person in my house, somebody who served their country well, who, when we started looking at what was this too loud, boom, boom, mister, I'll never forget it.
Let me ask you this, ma'am. How far?
He said, Mama D, that was a bomb.
So far, I've asked you 2 questions, and you've been very unresponsive. The first question.
I don't know what you're calling unresponsive.
Well, the first question was how far.
Can I see? No, I can't see you. I wear glasses, and I can't afford to buy any. I heard.
Ma'am, we don't need to speak in tongues. We just need to speak in honest answers.
That is honest. I have no reason to lie to you. Who are you, Mr. Shea?
I'm serious.
What you have you done for me? I'm sitting up here now. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do from tomorrow. Why would I have to sit here and lie to you, first of all? Let's get honest about that,
Mama
baby.
D, can I just ask?
I want to be on the same page with you.
Can I understand it is that you didn't see it, but you heard it? Is that fair to say?
Anybody who saw it ain't living to tell about it.
So you didn't see it, but you heard it.
I don't know what kind of answer you want, Missy. That's why we have problems with y'all coming telling us what to do and all this. You don't even understand us when we talk.
You don't even understand the situation.
No, I'm trying to understand the situation.
No, you're not.
I've asked 2 questions.
And I've answered them.
No,
see? What do you mean, see?
I first asked how far your house was from where the levee broke. And did not get an answer. And the second question I asked is your house close enough so that you can see it? I think I've gotten the answer indirectly by your failing to answer the question.
And you can't sit there and do that, mister. I'm 60, and if I wasn't in America, I wouldn't let you sit there and do that. I answered you, and my answers are still the same. I live at 1733 North Durgeon. You got all the powers in your hand. I had to take a bath when I got to Washington, unless it had been in cold water. You get somebody, get on the phone, ask somebody how far it is from 1733 North Durgeon to the London Street Canal. It's very close. I walked to Dillard University, and I walked to my P.O. box, which is just beyond that. I'm 60 years old. A mile or less. I can't give you specific.
So the answer is a mile or less, and she didn't see anything, but she heard.
I saw the water immediately after.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, my time has run out.
Thank you very much. Ms. Jefferson, any questions?
Damn, now we gonna play with people's intelligence?
I resent being told that I'm lying about people having machine guns on us.
Mr. Jefferson,
and about
your time.
thousands of
Your time.
people were held at gunpoint.
Let me just ask you, please. You've had plenty of opportunity to speak, and nobody's impugning anything. You're all under.
Offensive.
No, I don't think anybody called you
Thousands of
that.
people, and we left body bags behind.
Mr. Jefferson, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
On the time that I have, I want to permit you to continue with your answer.
We got live stories. This isn't putting nothing in my pocket. This is not gonna feed me. I've survived the worst part of this. Contrary to the sickness that a few want to keep perpetrating out here. I'm appalled that you would say for my grandchildren to be able to see that you think we lying.
Ms. Hodges?
I'm appalled that he would suggest that my mother's lying. My mother was detained under the causeway with the same M16s. We were within one sunrise of being consumed by maggots and flies. And I repeat, for one whole day and one whole night, special needs people, senior citizens with life-threatening illnesses, diabetics, and amputee, pregnant women. They were denied food and water. We tried to get it for them. They could not get up and fend for themselves. The military refused to give us food and water, and they used our guns to push us, used their guns to push us away from food lines.
Can I just ask, whose guns? Were the National Guard?
There were National Guard. There were United States Coast Guard people out there. There were state police, but it was the military, the National Guard. When we asked for food and water for these old people who could not get up and fend for themselves, we told them those people had not had food and water since the day before. They took those guns and barricaded us and pushed us away.
And where did this take place in about?
That took place at the Interstate 10 at the causeway. All I can see every day, I wake up in this horrible, horrible concentration camp, and every time I circulate to try to help people, all I see is the sign that say causeway, causeway. I wanted to mark that spot. that area looks like a bomb has been dropped on it. And people say they heard an explosion that sounded like a bomb.
I was there.
Ms. Thompson?
Mr. Shades, I want you to know that not only did they aim the gun at the five-year-old grandson, they aimed it at a 2-year-old grandson. The only reason why I used the 5-year-old granddaughter is because of her response. But I don't mean any insult, but when you walk a mile in my shoes, tell me what you believe then.
The military bragged on CNN, the state police bragged on CNN about how many people they had killed, they had murdered in the streets of New Orleans. It wasn't even 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They were happy, they were bragging, they were smiling. They said, yeah, we killed 5 of them today. Where were you when CNN was showing that part of what really happened?
We had to hide, Jeff. I didn't leave. We had to hide to save people.
Sure enough.
If we saw the police, I'm talking about them dogs that we used to, NOPD. Our police went and looted Walmarts. It's on film. We have no reason to lie about this. If we're not going to sit here and be honest about the racism that was perpetrated,
it don't make no sense.
then I have really, truly wasted my time coming here.
And I missed a day's work.
And I really don't want nobody to get confused. At 60, I just don't want to call you the names that we were called. We have documentation. We don't have to sit in this room. I invite all of you to please come to New Orleans. The proof is there.
Was that city, state, and federal? Do you fault all the levels
I
of government?
fault everybody. We were told to leave, go to the interstate, go to the Superdome, go to the convention center. When we stepped outside, guns were pointed on us. I felt like we were being told to go outside in order to be killed. No one's going to tell me it wasn't a race issue. Yes, it was an issue of race.
Was it National Guard or local police, or was it both?
We was treated bad by everybody. I think this was National Guard. I'm not sure. Okay. You know, but we didn't get, and I lived across the street from a police substation. I have till yet. For anybody to knock on my door and ask could they do anything to help.
Ms. Thompson, let me also ask, you noted in your testimony that your daughter ended up going to jail through this. You want to give us what did they charge her with at that?
They charged her with, curfew violation. But how we got to New Orleans at 4:30 in the morning. You understand what I'm saying? We couldn't do anything then. We had 5 rooms of furniture to move, and it was 4 females.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Hodges.
I'm sure that race has everything to do with it, as race always has everything to do with the treatment of people of color in America. The fish were evacuated and the people were left to die. The stray animals from the animal shelter, most of whom would have been euphemized, were evacuated 2 days before the storm, and the people were left to die. Buses that could have gotten out people who otherwise could not get out were left to flood, and people were left to die. The military, which has the great capability of moving entire cities, failed to move in and move out the people the way the dogs and the fish had been moved out, and people were left to die. Mostly poor, mostly people of color. Race had everything to do with the ethnic cleansing and the massacre of predominantly African American people being blamed on Hurricane Katrina.
And Ms. Hodges, you fault the state and the local and the federal, all levels?
I fault the President of the United States of America, George W. Bush. I fault Kathleen Babineau Blanco, the governor of the state of Louisiana. I fault Ray C. Nagin, the mayor of the city of New Orleans, all of whom have accepted full responsibility for what has happened to us. Jefferson Parish is where the Causeway concentration camp was housed, where we experienced the Gestapo-type oppression as opposed to being rescued. We were 3 minutes away from the airport. They could have taken us to the airport. Those military vehicles could have taken us to any dry, safe city in America. Instead, they dumped us at a dumping ground, sealed us in there, and they backed up all their authority with military M16s.
Yep.
And there were thousands and thousands of people. On the last day we were in there, and let me tell you something, they handpicked the white people to ride out first. Yes, racism was very much involved. They handpicked the white people to ride out first. Every day the crowd got darker and darker and darker until finally there were 95% people of color in that place.
Ms. Hodges, would you be offended if I respectfully asked you not to call the Causeway area a concentration camp?
I'm going to call it what it is. If I put a dress on a pig is still a pig.
Are you familiar with the history?
Yes, sir, I am. And that is the only thing I could compare what we went through to. And everybody who was in that place with me, the lady sitting next to me was there. My mother was there. My younger brother was there. My two sisters. We ran into other. That is the point, that they broke up families and dispersed us.
That's right.
And they stood over us with guns and enforced their authority. And yes, they tortured us. And then they use various forms of torture. And yes, I know what a concentration camp is. I'm a college-educated woman, and I love the study of history.
Not a single person was marched into a gas chamber and killed.
They died from abject neglect.
No,
we left body bags behind.
They died from
pregnant women lost their babies.
That's one of the reasons why some of these people wouldn't come out those houses, because you was told to come on the street, and when people came out, people got killed.
Excuse me, Mr. Miller has another minute left.
I should have more time than that, sir.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I respectfully request that you not call it the Causeway concentration camp.
Respectfully, sir.
Excuse Mr. Miller's time. You had your time.
My problem with all of this, and I said this in September. I said, nobody is going to believe us. This is an unbelievable story. We talked about this. You know, it's almost like we charge the oppressed for being oppressed. Ask Little Nagin, is he now willing to sit down with the community that he represents, not St. Bernard Parish, not Jefferson Parish, Orleans Parish, and discuss with us, where are we going with the future of New Orleans?
All I'm going to say is this, okay? I went to New Orleans in 2023. I took a cruise out of the port in New Orleans with the number one priority being speaking to my cruise mates, because a lot of them were native, born and raised. And from what they told me is that the levees were absolutely bombed. Now, allegedly, because there was one gentleman, God bless him, and I don't know his name and I don't know where he is in the world, but he had land, all right? A lot of them had land. It is very customary for New Orleans people to pass down their houses from generation to generation. And he told me a couple months before the levee broke that they were going door to door trying to buy their property. They were getting calls about buying their property for gentrification purposes. I repeat, they were getting mass calls, knocks at the door. It started with the calls, then the knocks at the door, and whenever they would refuse to sell their family's property, then came Hurricane Katrina, which was an actual hurricane, and then the levees get mysteriously broke. Some people truly believe that they made Hurricane Katrina seem like a Category 5 hurricane when it was not. And then broke the levees to make it seem like all of this was because of the hurricane. This comes from some NOLA natives born and raised. I shit you not. They told me this on this cruise. I talked to this man for about 2 hours about his experience with Katrina, and the things that he had to say not only broke my heart, but it made me totally disgusted with the government. They wanted the land, and they wanted the people to sell the land to them. They started off nice, was a little kind, and then blew up them levees. They heard it. Everybody around New Orleans heard it. It wasn't just that the levees broke. They also accused the government of trying to exterminate African Americans out of the area. I mean, even whenever you watch the documentary, it is very clear that this was absolutely a race thing. They did not want the people of New Orleans to be predominantly black, according to some of these people that I spoke to. So they had the people in Algiers out and about like it was, we were in 1940 something on trucks exterminating African Americans. I was going to put the clip in here, but I did not want this video to be flagged. But go watch the Hulu documentary. You will be equally as disgusted and believe that what these people are saying is not a lie. George W. Bush did nothing. The realest shit Kanye West ever said in his career was George Bush doesn't care about black people. You waited days and days to come in, to bring Air Force One in just to see the devastation. And it was all very much so performative. Those people suffered. A lot of them died. A lot of them had to experience seeing a dead body in the women's bathroom or near it. A lot of children perished. It was absolutely disgusting. Whenever we had a tsunami in a whole nother country, Indonesia, Malaysia, over there the year prior, and we got aid to them immediately. Yes, the devastation was greater than Katrina, but for us to go out and help people expeditiously while our own people here are being called refugees, how dare that man in the last clip get upset for her calling it a concentration camp when y'all referred to New Orleans natives as refugees? And no, there's not anything wrong with refugees, but they are Americans. Okay? They are New Orleans. They didn't deserve the treatment that they got. And it was all because of race. I don't care what anybody says, argue with your mammy. They wanted to gentrify New Orleans. French Quarter survived. But the community that was below the poverty line, the lower 9th, 8th, 7th ward, totally demolished. Totally. The day after the storm, the people that I talked to in person and the people online and in this documentary said it had passed. The storm had passed. So there's no excuse as to why they see helicopters over their head dropping what they don't know is bombs onto the levees to destroy more. Hurricane Katrina was a cover up for a government operation to get the land and gentrify it. Because there's no way that only one of the racist people in Algiers, I think that's Mississippi, was prosecuted for his crimes. I just watched part of a documentary where they found dead bodies executed, okay, because of these vigilantes. I think that's how you said the word. These palm colored white racist men who were saving the dogs, cats, chickens before they would save people. They were literally shooting to kill. The governor, the mayor, the president, shame on it all. Shame on it all. My heart truly goes out to the people that survived and perished in Hurricane Katrina, because if I felt PTSD and I'm in California when this happened, I was literally like looking at the news, watching dead bodies float in the 9th grade. It was just that bad. And listening to these news reporters talk about my people like garbage, call them refugees, call them hoodlums, thugs, murderers, rapists. I listened to that and I called bullshit back then. It was almost like the government was the exterminator and they were trying to exterminate everybody that was living in poverty just to steal something that didn't belong to them. One bright light out of this whole story is the people that I ghetto interviewed 2 years ago, they kept their property. They did what they were supposed to do after the storm. Was it destroyed? Yes. But they were able to regain their property. They did not sell, they stood on business. One of the people that I spoke to, his house was on the Mississippi River. And as we were leaving out of the port, he could see his house. And he has so much pride because they tried to break those people. But what they don't understand is that New Orleans is not breakable, baby. It's not breakable. And I watched part of another documentary, which is called Hexing a Hurricane. It's on YouTube. You won't find it under the name Hexing a Hurricane, but it has a small amount of views. I will put it here. And a group of Caucasian voodoo practitioners hexed the storm weeks prior. And if you really think about it, because I know voodoo is a closed practice, but some say that Mama Brigitte is Caucasian, and some people are that are Caucasian are called to practice voodoo, however you say it. And the storm was quiet after the first day. Like them people were fine, they were okay, and then they come bombing up levees allegedly. I'm not buying it. Something stank, and it is the government and that mayor and that governor. And even though the governor and mayor has taken accountability for their parts, they still are very corrupt people. Everybody involved in Katrina need their ass whooped. That is all for today, YouTube. And if you would like me to cover a person, place, or thing topic, please leave it down below. I will be more than happy to cover it. And until next time, y'all do good, be good, and stay safe.